Nidia decided to venture into the forest to live in an abandoned hut that was stationed in the heart of the forest. The hut was said to be possessed by unknown spirits, as all its previous inhabitants died mysteriously. Once upon a time, there lived a very poor widow named Enidia. Enidia was once married to a very rich man who died many years ago, leaving her alone with their sick son Obum, who had been sick right from birth. Enidia's husband loved them so much and never failed to show people how much he loved his wife and son. Despite the fact that Enidia had a son for her husband's family never got to accept her son as part of their own because of his reoccurring sickness, which made them believe that he was cursed. They called him a vegetable and rebuked anyone who called him a part of their family. This broke Enidia's heart as she watched her son being ridiculed and rejected by his own family. A few years after the burial of her husband, Enidia's husband's family threw her out of her husband's house, not caring how she would cope with her sick son, who had always been sickly from birth. Enidia moved from door to door, pleading with the villagers to shelter her sick son and herself, but everyone turned her down, saying that her son seemed cursed and that they did not want to bring any curse upon their household. Having nowhere else to go, Enidia decided to venture into the forest to live in an abandoned hut that was stationed in the heart of the forest. The hut was said to be possessed by unknown spirits, as all its previous inhabitants died mysteriously. But Enidia, having nowhere else to go, decided to make the abandoned hut their new home. For so many years, Enidia lived in the forest with her son, who could barely walk or engage in normal activities. They would most times hear strange noises in the hut, and even in one instance, Enidia woke up late at night to find herself sleeping outside their hut and wondered how she got there. Several strange things happened in the hut, but Enidia decided to plead with the spirits inhabiting the hut to permit them to stay, as they had nowhere else to go. And not long afterwards, Enidia and her son never encountered any strange happenings in the hut again. One day, Enidia's son's condition became worse. He was so sick and about to die, and Enidia had no money to buy the herbs needed for his treatment, so she decided to pay her husband's brother a visit to beg for some money. But when she got there, no one agreed to open the door for her. She stood outside the hut, knocking and pleading for help, but everyone ignored her cries. Enidia, being so desperate, decided to visit a very powerful tree stationed deep in the forest. It has been rumored that the mysterious tree was once a man who was wrongly accused of a crime that he did not commit. He was banished to go live in the forest, and it was said that the man went into the forest and sat in one place without moving for months. After several months, the man eventually died on the said spot, and one morning, the villagers woke up to see a mysterious tree growing on the spot that the man had died. Everyone was filled with fear, especially when they realized that the man was innocent of the accusations they had levied against him. For years, the mysterious tree had been said to be the reason behind several terrible things that have happened in the village, and the spirit residing within the tree was said to abhor injustice. Enyidia, on seeing the condition of her son, decided to venture into the forest that evening to seek the help of the spirit residing within the mysterious tree. She sat at the foot of the tree, weeping and pleading for the tree to save her son's life, as she tearfully narrated how her husband's family rejected her son and threw them out of her late husband's house, despite the fact that she had a son for her husband. Enyidia wept at the foot of the tree for hours and decided to return back to her hut. That same night, the villagers were awoken by loud screams and realized that their village had been surrounded by their enemies. A very feared king, who lives many miles away, had come to take over their village. Many people were killed in the process, and the rest taken hostage, including the king of the village. The villagers were now made slaves in their own land. Their enemies had taken over their huts and properties, and no one could do anything about it, not even their king, who was now the personal slave of the wicked king. For months, the people prayed to their gods to liberate them from the hands of the wicked king, who now ruled over them and subjected them to ill treatment and hard labor. One day, a strange young man walked into the village, screaming at the top of his voice as he ordered the wicked king and his men to leave the village to avoid his wrath coming upon them. The wicked king, on hearing this, became furious, as he could not understand how a mere man would be so bold as to stand before him and order him out of the village. The wicked king then ordered his men to seize the young man and kill him. And when his men rushed towards the young man, they fell to the ground and died mysteriously. This terrified the wicked king, who wondered how this was possible. He asked the young man who he was and what he wanted, and the young man told him to leave the village immediately, and the wicked king, unable to accept defeat, tried to kill the young man himself when he too fell to the ground and mysteriously died. The villagers, once enslaved, were now free from the clutches of the wicked king. They gathered around the young man, expressing their gratitude and admiration for his bravery. In their village, a reigning king is forever indebted to anyone who saves his life from impending danger, and in these rare cases, the throne, after the death of the reigning king, would be passed on to such a man. The king was so grateful to the young man for saving the whole village, including himself, the king. Without hesitation, the king announced the young man as his successor, and everyone jubilated as they all owed their lives to the strange man who they did not know was Obum. When the villagers realized that the young man was Obum, they were filled with shock, as they never believed that a once sickly young man who could barely walk and talk would one day save the entire village, including the king, and be crowned the next king of their village. They all wondered how this was possible, and Obum narrated how his mother Enyidia sought the help of the spirit residing in the mysterious tree deep in the forest. He explained how his mother wept and pleaded for the spirit to save his life, and how the spirit, moved by Enyidia's sincerity and love, healed him completely and granted him great powers. Obum, once considered an outcast, now stood before the villagers as their savior and rightful heir to the throne. His late father's family members were all ashamed, as they never believed that a boy who they rejected was one day going to rule over them as king. They all gathered to apologize to Obum for their wrongs, swearing their allegiance to him, and this brought Obum to tears, as he could not believe how his life had turned around. Obum thanked his dear mother Enyidia for never giving up on him, and ensured that she was well taken care of all the days of her life. That was how Obum became the next king of the village, who ruled with compassion, fairness, and a deep understanding of the struggles faced by the people. The lesson to be learned from this story is that we should never look down on anyone in life, regardless of their situation, as no situation in life is permanent. Treat people with kindness always, and never underestimate the bonds of family and love, for they can be the source of unexpected strength and miracles in one's life. I hope you enjoyed the story. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps us grow our channel. I'll see you in our next story. Bye.